Are there raisins in the carrot cake? Yes, okay, so no one save me a slice of that. I will spend my time with the chocolate cake, of which there are 2 varieties. People ask, how do we do this work day in and day out? I think I get asked that a lot because I've now been with CAIR for 8.5 years. And so I'm especially excited to be here at this chapter for my first time. In 2009, when I joined, I had the opportunity to train with Moin Khwaja, who was the executive director of CAIR-Philadelphia at that time. And in the time since then, it's been so incredible to see this office grow, to see it respond to so many needs and demands from the community and to an ever-changing environment in DC. We know that when we do this work, we are not alone. We are supported by so many of you. But we are also supported by allies who have joined us tonight and who stand with us as we do this work to protect the rights of American Muslims and by extension, all Americans. And so I'd like to ask you to join me in recognizing some of our friends who are here with us tonight. Please hold your applause until I finish reading their names because there are that many of them. First and foremost, there is Hiro Nishikawa of the Japanese American Citizens League. Would you please raise your hand and stand? There is Amir Sajid from the ACLU Board of Directors. There is Tom Vasic from the president of the Lions, or who is the president of the Lions Club. There is Ezekiel Mathur, who is the Philadelphia Human Rights Commissioner. Thomas Garl, Patricia Coyne, Sally Baraka, and Ryan Boyer, chairman of the Delaware River Port Authority. Give them all a round of applause. So that was the list that they gave me, and then they kept adding to it. So we also have Sheikh Siddiq, who is a 6th District Councilman. I believe he's also here with us. Yes? And then we have, who will be joining us on stage, Pennsylvania State Senator Sharif Street. He'll be presenting a proclamation to CAIR-Philadelphia. So please join me in welcoming Senator Street and Jacob Bender to the stage.
Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. You know, it is a pleasure to be here each year with CAIR, and I thank you for the work you're doing to protect the rights of all Pennsylvanians, but especially the rights of Muslim Americans. I thank you both as a Pennsylvania senator who has taken an oath to protect the constitutional rights of all Pennsylvanians, but also as a Muslim American myself, and I understand the important work that has to be done. Recently, I thank CAIR for its efforts in our helping protect the rights of Nashiha, who was a Philadelphia young lady playing in the playoffs in a basketball championship, who was asked to remove her hijab during a game after the game had already commenced in the playoffs. And I think that we are very close to reaching an agreement which should be adopted later this week. To allow all religious headgear to be worn, and we're going to do away with the ridiculous and shameful requirement that you fill out a waiver on an individual basis. And if not, we'll introduce legislation to effectuate the same. And also, we mentioned, and I thank CAIR for its support, I've introduced legislation to protect, in response to the desecration of both mosques throughout the Commonwealth, and also Jewish cemeteries. Because unfortunately, we're having a rise of attacks on the community, and we thank CAIR for a partnership. So with that, I won't talk any longer because I know we have a lengthy program. I'll read and present this congratulatory proclamation. I think it's the official word. And it reads, whereas the Senate of Pennsylvania takes great pleasure in recognizing those organizations who through dedication and excellence contribute in a meaningful way to the well-being of their communities and ultimately all of the people of this great Commonwealth. And whereas the Council of American Islamic Relations, created in 1995 to challenge the stereotypes of Islam and Muslims, has dedicated itself to providing an Islamic perspective on issues of importance to the American public and has established themselves as stalwart defenders of civil liberties, an exemplar of tolerance in building advocacy in relationship to Jewish, Christian, and interfaith bodies. Through those efforts, CAIR has built an international brand consistent in combating bias directed against Muslims and institutions of other marginalized groups. They are lauded as the most frequently quoted American Muslim organization in U.S. media, with a substantial international reputation centered on providing an Islamic perspective on issues of importance to the American public. CAIR stands as America's largest Muslim civil liberties and advocacy group. And whereas CAIR stands as vanguards of civil rights and anti-defamation, these categories alone account for 50% of almost 2,000 news releases recording their activity. Their work encompasses educational efforts, including nationwide Muslim youth leadership summits and the community Know Your Rights seminars, anti-terrorist declarations, and the dissemination and advancement of academia regarding Islamic religious practices for doctors, law enforcement, educators, and others in bringing a cultural awareness and understanding of the faith and interacting with Muslims. Now, therefore, I, Sharif Street of the 3rd Senatorial District in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, on behalf of the Pennsylvania Senate, do congratulate and honor CAIR on this occasion of the 12th annual CAIR Banquet. CAIR stands as a leader in using the political process to advocate on behalf of all economic, political, and social, cultural equality of all Muslims and the greater community. Respectfully submitted and signed by me, State Senator Sharif Street.
We'll just stand here for a while.